Just a quick reminder guys, these narrations are best enjoyed with headphones on. Hey everyone, Spartan Commander 1990, Chief Editor of Disabled Gaming Reviews here. By the time you are watching this, the next generation of gaming should start. Today, Microsoft's next generation systems, the Xbox Series S and X, released today. To say farewell to the previous generation and bring in the next generation, our partners at Kenzie Retro and ourselves are going to be going through our top 20 games of the previous generation. Well, it was originally planned to be anyway. However, a week or so ago, about the time the Age of Empires 3 Definitive Edition review was due to be posted, we had a light bulb moment. This generation of hardware has been so full of excellent releases, we have decided to split the list half and half. Today I'm going through my top 10 best games of the previous generation from Microsoft owned platforms, i.e. Xbox One and PC. Well, Kenzie is going through the same procedure, but with other systems, i.e. PlayStation 4 and Nintendo Switch. Right, before we get into the list, let's go over the rules. Rule number 1. No remasters. For this rules, we had to draw the line between reboots and remakes and remasters. This means that definitive editions and HD collections are out. Right, rule number 2. In accordance with the unwritten laws of any lists on YouTube, one entry per franchise. Rule number 3. Multi-platform games are counted. Before we started producing our individual lists, we collaborated on what games that appear on our list to ensure that there are no clashes. However, any audible mentions are exempt from that rule. Last but not least, rule number 4. The games we've chosen has to be a game that was released during this previous generation. That means that backwards compatible games are completely out. For reference, this is between November 2013 to October 2020. With that out of the way, let's dive into the list. So at number 10 we have Halo 5. This game has so much potential, but 343 decided to squander it completely. The advertising campaign was misleading. We were under the impression that we play as either Master Chief or Spartan Locke and hunt each other down with the two endings. Therefore, we ultimately decide who lives and who dies. During the campaign itself, the two teams basically team up against a forerunner threat, and that is barely scratching the surface. The reason why the game is in this list in the first place is because the multiplayer element is this game's saving grace. Although this game is suspiciously similar to Call of Duty, back then the entire industry was dominated by the series, and 343 had to make concessions to keep the franchise relevant and fresh. What really sets this game out from the crowd is the game's Warzone mode. This mode adds a Battlefield-esque flavour to the game's multiplayer. However, this game has randomised loot boxes and microtransactions added to the game. However, these loot boxes contained cosmetic items only. And then at number 9 we have Apex Legends. Like it or not, this generation of hardware has been dominated by Battle Royale games, and Fortnite has transformed the niche into a gigatrend in its own right. So I had to put a Battle Royale game on this list, and as for me, I had to pick Apex Legends. The game's focuses on class and teamwork does deviate from the traditional Battle Royale game, but the franchise as a whole is far too repetitive anyway. Titanfall developers Respawn Entertainment has done a very good job taking the traditional Battle Royale ethos, twisting it a little, and adding unique mechanics to make the game fresh. The game is now available on Steam, Origin, PS4, Xbox One, and eventually Nintendo Switch. With cross-network play featured added to the game, this game will undoubtedly reach a new peak of popularity, even challenge the behemoth of the genre, Fortnite. As I've said before, the game's focus on teamwork with characters with unique ability, strengths and weaknesses to boot. For example, Lifeline can deploy healing stations. When it's deployed, any teammates who are injured is healed. Also, Lifeline can also deploy resupply stations. This allows teammates to gain access to high quality defensive gear. However, similar to Halo 5, both loot boxes and microtransactions are in the game. However, they are not as predatory as FIFA. The only way to unlock new characters is through grinding. You play enough games and earn enough EXP, you will get legend tokens. These can be used in the rotating shop to unlock certain weapon skins and new characters. In my opinion, Apex Legends is probably the best Battle Royale game of this generation, so it had to be added to the list. Coming in at number 8, we have Destiny 2. The Destiny series has been the #1 most popular MMO of this generation, most specifically for consoles. The first entry of the series was a groundbreaking success. Thousands of people were playing the game at its peak. The sequel was not as well received as its predecessor. Probably due to the game's predatory loot box system. Upon launch, the only way to get decent gear was through loot boxes. Later on in the game's life cycle, the game went through numerous changes, including the game becoming free to play, along with the 2 of the game's 5 expansions and numerous balance changes between the classes. Now, with the game's 5 expansions available as downloadable content being available on Xbox Game Pass, so in retrospect, your Game Pass subscription fee practically pays for itself. Also, the game is now available through your Android via Xbox Cloud Gaming through your Xbox Game Pass Ultimate membership. Like I said, this game includes the base game and 2 of the game's expansion for absolutely free. That's loads of content without paying a penny. The Forsaken, Shadowkeep and Beyond Light expansions adds more and more hours of playtime to an already long game. Probably one of the best free-to-play games on console, now with cross-save support. You can complete a strike for a piece of gear that you've been grinding for several rounds in a game at a friend's house, and then when you sign into the game on PC, your updated save should carry over so you can continue your journey whichever format you happen to be playing the game on. And then at number 7, Civilization 6. The game has redefined the 4-time strategy game subgenre. Instead of recycling the majority of the mechanics of the previous game like they did with Civilization Beyond Earth, this entry of the series reinvents itself and the way we play Civilization. For example, in the traditional game of Civilization, a city occupies a single tile. However, this entry of the series decided to take a more realistic approach. In this entry of the series, certain city districts, even big wonders, requires a single tile adjacent to the city to be constructed. These districts and wonders grant bonuses for your civilization as you advance through the ages. Each and every civilization has its own unique personality, traits, and strengths. Every expansion presented new mechanics as time went on. For example, the Gathering Storm expansion packs focuses on one of the biggest environmental emergencies known to humanity, climate change and natural disasters. This adds more challenge to the game, with the developers adding more and more content to the Frontier Pass. There is no shortage of content to play through. For Kenzie, it's the music that's playing in the menu, the Sogno di Volare, or the Dream of Flight. And at number 6 we have Yooka-Laylee. This game is a reboot of one of the most beloved franchises to the N64 catalogue and another cult classic of UK developer Rare's portfolio, BanjoKazooie. The DNA of BanjoKazooie is prevalent in this game. Instead of hunting down jigsaw pieces in Gruntilda's lair, you are looking for pages of a book that possesses magical powers. However, it has been required by the evil Ivory Terrorist Corporation, which is led by Capital B, the organization's evil Chief Executive Officer or CEO. It is up to Yuka, the chameleon, and Lily, the bat, to hunt down the remaining pages and complete the book. Playtonic had former developers of BanjoKazooie into their dev team. What makes this game stand out from the crowd is the ability to expand worlds using pages you've collected. You also gain abilities as you play through the game, which adds this Metroidvania-esque feel to the game. The reason why I've actually put this high on the list is because it still retains the still nostalgic charm that BanjoKazooie had. And then at number 5 we have Super Lucky's Tale. This game has seen me through a very tough time in my life. When my stepfather passed away due to pneumonia, playing this game kept depression at bay. This game is similar to the legendary N64 classic Super Mario 64. The abilities that you have at the start of the game is the abilities you're stuck with, thus removing the Metroidvania-esque feel to the game in which BanjoKazooie and Yooka-Laylee has. In this game you're hunting down clovers which are hidden in among the levels. These levels vary from 3D sections to classic 2D sections. This game is highly optimized on PC. My old i5 and GTX 1050 Ti enabled PC was been able to run this game at ultra settings at 1080p resolution. If I were to compile a list of the games to play after you've taken an epileptic seizure, this game would be in the top 3. When you're going through an epileptic seizure, all the receptors in your brain go haywire. This game requires very little thought and it's very easy to play. The music is very melancholy, which can relax the brain while the nervous system recovers. Seriously guys, take it from me. So let's review the list before we get into the top 5. And at 10, Halo 5. Number 9, Apex Legends. Number 8, Destiny 2. Number 7, Civilization 6. And at number 5, Super Lucky's Tale. And at 4, we've got Gears 5. This game is the 5th entry in the highly successful Gears of War series, and one of the best multiplayer experiences on Xbox One. The game itself is undergoing optimization and graphical upgrades for the Xbox Series X. Apparently, the textures that the Xbox Series X has used is equivalent to ultra settings for the PC version. The escape mode adds infinite replayability as the community can make their own escape maps and share them with their friends online. The campaign is very good and exciting. The new mechanics present in the game puts a lot more emphasis on tactics. For example, when an enemy is in cover, you can jump over the cover and pin the person down, allowing you to execute him for a quick kill. If you haven't given Gears 5 a try, it's on Game Pass. At least try it. Trust me, you won't regret it. And in a bronze position we have Sonic Mania, the highest rated Sonic game in 15 years. The game celebrates both the old and new. What's surprising about this game is that it's made by fan developers. For example, the veteran from the ROM hacking scene, Christian Whitehead. This is how a Sonic game should play: 2D, fast paced and fun to play, with the inclusion of Mania mode, which adds a teamwork mechanic similar to Sonic Heroes, mixing with a variety of classic characters including Mighty the Armadillo and Ray the Flying Squirrel. Extensive and probably the best Sonic game I've played in decades. The story itself is an excellent precursor to the not so great Sonic Forces, as Sonic speeds his way through familiar zones, for example Stardust Speedway Zone from Sonic CD. Taking silver position, the sequel to a 25-year-old game that we never saw coming, Streets of Rage 4, the best brawler I have played in ages. The developers .emu have got this game nailed, and the soundtrack is pretty much god tier, from various artists including the legendary Yuzo Koshiro. This game certainly ended this hardware generation with a massive bang. The core mechanic is extremely fun and true to the original games that was originally for the Sega Mega Drive. I would probably say that this game is a must buy for any player who's interested in the brawler subgenre. Seriously, this game is on Game Pass. Once again, give this game a try. You will get hooked from the moment you press start. Again, you will not regret this. Once again, in accordance to the unwritten laws on this on YouTube, I'm going to revisit the previous 9 entries on the list before we get into our number 1. And at 10, Halo 5, and at 9, Apex Legends. And at number 8, we have Destiny 2, and at number 7, Civilization 6, and at number 6, Yooka-Laylee, and at number 5, Super Lucky's Tale, and at number 4, Gears 5, taking bronze position, Sonic Mania, and last but not least, taking silver, Streets of Rage 4. And now we have reached the summit. The best game, in my opinion, of the previous generation from Microsoft systems is... Doom 2016! The reboot of a timeless classic that put the FPS genre on the map. Did you know that the original Doom was installed on more PCs than Microsoft Windows 98? This game single-handedly redeemed ID Software from the abysmal failure that was Doom 3. This game showed us what a single-player only FPS should play like. Fast-paced, in-your-face, balls-to-the-wall action. The reason why I chose this is this game built the foundation that Doom Eternal was built on, with online, highly addictive multiplayer modes to boot. Although that I find it extremely hard to play the console version due to the lack of a legacy stick layout, I can still play the PC version. Seriously guys, although both the hardware and the game itself has been superseded by Eternal and the Xbox Series X, I will be continuing to play this game as it was so innovative at the time and it was so badass. And oh my god, the music! Oh, the music! Do yourself a favour, search Doom 2016 BFG Division, turn your speakers up, and get ready for some seriously badass heavy metal. And on that note, this concludes my top 10 games for the previous generation from Microsoft based systems. Now tune in to Kenty's channels on the 19th of November for his list on the top 10 games of the previous generation on other systems, in this case PS4 and Nintendo Switch. This is Spartan Commander 1990, Chief Editor of Disabled Gaming Reviews, one half of the Accessible Gaming Network, signing out. Your move, Kenzie!